Wow. Hey. Wow. Let's listen to that again. Ladies and gentlemen, we're back in the studio with a good cup of coffee for one more vocal analysis. And today we are listening to Fujii Kaze. You know what? I don't know how, but today was the very first time that I heard of this singer, and I heard he's a fantastic Japanese singer-songwriter. I heard he's awesome with the piano as well, and I was recommended me his work, and like when I look it up and I saw the amount of views that he had on his videos and other music teachers that were reacting and analyzing his music, I was like, how come I've never had a student bring in his songs to their lessons? How come I never came across his work? Well, for some reason I never did until today, and this is the time for us to listen to Fujii Kaze for the first time. And the song that we are picking for this vocal analysis is Shinunoga E-Wa. I believe that's the way to pronounce it. I do not speak Japanese, so sorry, but if you know the correct pronunciation, correct me in the comment section. If you are new to the channel, my name is Stylistic. I'm a singer-songwriter and voice teacher. As a singer-songwriter, I just released my latest single. It's called Canvas of My Soul. So look at my In fact, I'll leave it up here if you want to check it out, and it would mean the world to me if you could give it a listen, and if you could give me your feedback on it. That's my biggest dream in life, to have my songs connecting to the most people as possible, and you can help me turn that into reality. So thank you so much. And as a voice teacher / vocal coach, my work is focused and based on laryngeal, biomechanics, and physiology. Basically, what the muscles that we have inside our larynxes, they do in order to achieve the sounds that we have in contemporary singing. That's also what will be guiding this analysis here. We're listening to the sounds that he's making. Of course, I do not speak Japanese, and I presume that the lyrics are being sung in Japanese, but you'll be listening to the sounds and trying to identify what's happening at a physiological level. If you want to become my singing student, then click the link in the description to get all of the information on my online singing course. It's called Building Your Voice, and there we cover a range of different topics inside vocal technique: how to belt, how to sing low notes with power, but also how to be really expressive with your voice by using soft sounds, how to map out your songs so that you have a plan and you know when to use each technique. Vocal distortions, yeah, we have a complete module on vocal distortions, how to apply, how to practice them in a way that will not harm your voice, all of that and much more. If you want to know everything that we cover inside the course, then click the link below and you get all of the info. Alright, without further ado, let's listen to Fujii Kaze. Wow. This is beautiful. Makes me think of, well, not only classical music, quite obvious, but also video games soundtracks. Like listening to this, I can already think Final Fantasy immediately. And Castlevania. Yeah. Wow. Hey. Wow. This is so cool. Well, the vocal scheme that he's using here, and vocal schemes are how we call the vocal techniques inside Vocal Anthropophysiology, which is the theoretical framework for my work as a voice teacher. And the breathy voice is this kind of vocal technique in which we have a lot of breathiness in the sound. The vocal folds are passive, which means that we don't have that much compression compression. We don't have the muscles closing and resisting against that air pressure that we're sending. Everything is loose, and we also have muscles in the throat, the posterior cricoretinoid muscles, that are opening the vocal folds to allow that breathiness. Having a passive sound, a passive vocal scheme, doesn't mean that it will be breathy. I can have a passive sound like ah, or like ah. Both of them are passive. One is breathy and the other one is something else. So beautiful. And of course, like, his control over the vocal runs, fantastic. It sounds a bit, let's say, different, because in a good way, in a really good way, because he's singing probably on top of other scales / modes that are not exactly the pentatonic scale. And we are so used to hearing vocal runs being sang on top of the pentatonic scale. Yeah, it's just so unique to hear it being done like that. And also, he was playing the piano, it sounded quite classical, and then he started to sing, and his voice is just so contemporary, so new. Yeah. Na 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 na. And here we are talking about a passive vocal scheme in which we don't have that breathiness. So yes, this inside vocal anthropophysiology is what we call a Gregorian voice. The vocal folds are in passive tension, but it is not breathy. No, we do have some closure, but that closure is being made by the air pressure, sucking the vocal folds to the center instead of using the muscles to close. Yeah, so it's not the muscle tension on this case, which wouldn't be bad. I'm pretty sure that he will activate his vocal folds later, but it's a different sound. And a good singer will go through different sounds, switching back and forth between them to convey emotion. And that's the main thing about, and the whole purpose of vocal technique, to convey emotion with your singing, to be expressive.
It doesn't matter if it's on day.
I think it was an F sharp there. That was active. Amazing, like that contrast, active, passive, passive, active, and super low. He's not going high here, I believe. Again, this is the very first time that I'm listening to his music, but I believe that he will be doing something a bit higher. It might not be the case. Like, he might be the singer that sings usually low, but I would, like, just, I have the feeling that he will go higher. Melody is so beautiful. I have no idea what he's singing about here, but still, the voice. And now his vocal folds are active, right? Yeah. And this is a kind of vocal scheme that we call crooner voice, and the name is a tribute to the crooning movement. So think of the big radio singers back in the day. It just means that it is a range similar to the range in which we speak in, and the vocal folds are active. Not everyone speaks with active vocal folds. I am speaking to you right now with active vocal folds, but I could be speaking like this and that would be passive, and that's totally right. And oftentimes when we are speaking, we will be like just switching back and forth depending on what we are saying. And again, conveying emotion, we do that to speak, we do that to sing as well. But this is a vocal scheme that we would call crooner voice, active vocal folds. And another thing that is like getting my attention there is how performatic he is without leaving his bench, because I'm pretty sure that he will play piano again, so he doesn't want to move that much. He needs to stay maybe also on frame for the cameras, and then he's just on his bench, his chair, and he is moving so much that is giving me the impression that he is like jumping around, but he's not. He's still.
で初めて気がつくなんてそんなダサいことも知らないの Goodbye
That's our classical pentatonic run. Yeah. Again, pentatonic. We talk a lot about these vocal runs on top of the pentatonic scale inside my singing course, Building Your Voice. If you want to know more about that, link in the description. Wait, is that live looping? Still a crooner voice, beautiful. Pay attention to that placement. His soft palate is not completely raised, but it's not super low either. It's not doing he's just lowering his palate enough to get some brightness into the sound, but not too much, not overdoing it. Now a bit more. Okay, now this is super jazzy. Lots of scat. Let's listen to that again. This is another vocal scheme. This we call warn voice. The voice that you would use to warn someone about something. Imagine that you're calling someone on the other side of the street. Hey! Warn voice right there. Active vocal. This is pretty much belting. The warn voice is just how we call the specific vocal scheme inside the vocal anthropophysiology, but functionally that is belting. You are singing above the E4 with active vocal folds. This is a Gregorian voice, passive vocal folds, no breathiness up there. And then back to active, passive, active. Now he went up there, active. The B. Creaky voice. This distortion here is called creaky. It's created by the crackling of the arytenoid cartilages. Yeah, we can have the arytenoid cartilages creating this sound here, and that's exactly a creaky voice. Wow! This was beautiful. Alright guys, that's amazing. I love it. Yeah, again, I don't know how I didn't come across this singer's work before, but I'm definitely checking more of his stuff out. If you have recommendations, like, comment down below and let's listen to it together. Now, if you are curious about my own singing, you're like, okay, this person is talking about voice, but how does he sing when he actually sings for real? How does it sound like? Then I'll leave a card up here for you to check out the playlist with my original music. It would mean the world to me if you could give it a listen and let me know your thoughts on it. If you want to become my singing student, then check out the link in the description to get all of the info on my online singing program, Building Your Voice. And there we cover a range of different topics inside vocal technique. We talk about how to belt, how to sing low notes, how to sing with soft sounds to be really expressive with your voice, how to use vocal distortions, in a way that will not hurt your voice, it won't be harmful. We have a vocal exercise library with exercise for you to practice each of the techniques that we cover inside the course, all of that and much more. If you want to know everything that we have inside the course, Click the link below and you get all of the info. Alright, that's all for today. You enjoy your day, you enjoy your coffee, and remember, if your concepts cannot be seen here in the real world, then they must change, and not the world. See you in the next one.
So look at my